if you're not having fun on a ketogenic or low carb diet. Give yourself a break. These diets can be tedious and they're not for everybody. But these 3 tips I share in this video will allow you to get away with eating more carbs but still burn lots of fat fast. However, I need to warn you, one of these will be hard to implement, but for the other 2, I wish somebody just shook me and forced me to do it because they're so easy and when done correctly produce massive results toward fat loss. Before we get into that, I want to reassure you, new diets can be challenging and there are a few reasons why a low carb diet may be difficult for you. For starters, it's easy to make mistakes that prevent you from entering a state of ketosis, which is where all the magic of keto happens. Also, a strict ketogenic diet, which is less than 50 grams of carbohydrates daily, may cause you to accumulate nutrient deficits and give you low, sluggish energy. Focusing on animal foods and avoiding plant foods makes you lose out on critical nutrients such as phytochemicals, antioxidants, fiber, and plant-based vitamins. Does this mean keto is not good? No. But it might not be good for you. Whether or not you can follow a ketogenic diet with maximum benefits comes down to how your body metabolizes fat. Many people have problems metabolizing and utilizing fat. An example of a condition that affects fat metabolism is familial hypercholesterolemia. This affects up to 10% of the world's population. People with this condition experience metabolic issues in response to high-fat diets because their cholesterol and inflammation biomarkers increase drastically in response to foods like coconut oil, butter, fatty fish, red meat, and eggs. This is also associated with chest pains during physical activity and fatty deposits around the elbows, knees, and butt. What's even more critical is adherence. If you're not enjoying it and you're constantly thinking of your favorite carb-rich foods, you won't do it long enough to see a net benefit towards your fat loss or health goals. This brings me to the first thing you should do that will allow you to get away with eating more carbs but still burn lots of fat fast. This is the hardest one of the 3. I'll just get straight to it and get it out of the way. Avoid toxins. The world is full of toxins, and anything can be toxic in high enough doses. But the toxins that matter most will surprise you. We worry a lot about pesticide residue on food, and rightly so. We should be confident that our food is 100% safe. But the doses we receive from artificial pesticides are tiny compared to those of natural pesticides produced by plants to defend themselves. It's estimated that Americans eat 5,000 to 10,000 different plant pesticides. That means we're ingesting 99.99% natural toxins and only 0.01% of synthetic toxins. The top 3 highly toxic carb sources are wheat, legumes, and fructose. This means drastically reducing any sources of carbohydrates with these natural toxins. And here's why. A natural toxin found in wheat is called wheat germ agglutinin, a protein that damages the intestinal lining and interferes with vitamin D production. This weakens the immune system and promotes chronic infections. Wheat also has gluten, a compound that triggers an autoimmune response and promotes cancer, heart disease, and neuropathy. It also has opioids, which make wheat addictive. This is why it's so hard to give up bread. Yet, there may be no single step that can do more to improve your health. Legumes, including soybeans, kidney beans, lentils, and peanuts, are promoted as protein-rich food. However, they're also very high in carbohydrates and highly toxic in their raw state. Raw kidney beans at 1% of the diet kills rats in 2 weeks. Cooking can destroy most of the toxins, but not all. In 1988, a British hospital offered a healthy eating day in their cafeteria and served a dish of red kidney beans. Within a few hours, 11 staff members suffered profuse vomiting and diarrhea. A surgical assistant vomited in the operating room, and the cause was traced back to lectin poisoning. Legumes are rich in the toxin lectin, and the dangers are not fully understood. Traditional cuisines that heavily use legumes, such as Indian and Mexican, use long cooking times and lengthy detoxification methods like soaking, sprouting, and fermentation. Even with such methods, not all the toxins are removed. And at the pace of modern life, few soak legumes before cooking anymore. Restaurants never do this. Fructose is another widely prevalent toxin, and I will talk more about it later in this video. For now, just know that high doses of fructose are no different from high doses of alcohol. This qualifies high doses of fructose from high fructose corn syrup as a toxin to the body. More nutritious foods can easily meet your carbohydrate needs. I have created a list with these nutritious nutritious, toxin-free carbohydrates, stick around and I will give it to you at the end of the video. For now, let's get into the easier things you should do that will allow you to get away with eating more carbs but still burn lots of fat fast. Anybody can do this easily because that's what our body is craving. Meet your macronutrient needs. Herbivores thrive on plants and carnivores have been going strong on meat. This raises an interesting question. Why are animal diets so varied? And can animal diets tell us about our macronutrient needs? If not, why do scientists spend so much time studying mice, rats, and primates? It turns out that even though the food these animals eat varies, the nutrients that reach the body after digestion are identical. Below the surface, all mammals have similar macronutrient needs. Here's an example. Meet Brooks. His macronutrient composition is around 2.3% fat, 15.9% carbohydrates, 24.4% protein, and 54.4% fiber. If I were to guess, he's eating an extremely low fat diet. But that is before the digestive tract transforms the food. After bacterial fermentation, these are his actual macronutrient needs. And guess what? These are the true macronutrient needs of all mammals, including humans. The numbers may vary slightly, but it's still majority fat and minority carbs and protein. There's room for carbs, and you can take advantage of it instead of struggling and forcing yourself to eat extremely low carb. Remember, not all carbs are created equal, and the most common carbohydrate sources are very toxic and have nasty long-term effects on your health. Brooks can teach us about the health implications. As I showed earlier, his natural diet consists of low-calorie vegetation and wild fruits, but the standard zoo diet for gorillas, which includes biscuits and sweet domesticated fruit, reversed those numbers drastically. As a result, at age 21, Brooks died of heart failure at the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo in 2005. The zoo looked to see if they could improve the gorillas' diet. They replaced the biscuits with 10 pounds of vegetables a day. And the zoo's remaining gorillas, Bobak and Monkolo, who at this point were destined to follow Brooks' fate, each lost 65 pounds and their cardiovascular biomarkers improved. Just like Brooks, 1/3 of Americans die of heart disease. Would we benefit from eating the way nature equipped us to eat? This brings me to the third thing you should do that will allow you to get away with eating more carbs but still burn lots of fat fast. This is probably the easiest of them all, and you also get that list of the carbs you can pig out on. You need to know your carbs. Few nutrients have inspired as much controversy as carbohydrates. The mainstream low-carb ketogenic diet, used as a standard therapy for epilepsy, obesity, and diabetes, has become common today. However, cultures all over the world obtain 50% of their energy from carbohydrates. How are they getting away with it? Ketavans, characterized by their extreme leanness, are some of the healthiest on a diet that's 69% carbs. This suggests that a wide range of carbohydrate intakes may be compatible with good health. If I were to sum it up in one sentence, it's this: avoid fructose and eat glucose instead. And here's why. For starters, fructose disrupts normal function and has been implicated in accelerated aging, stiff joints, insulin resistance, obesity, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure. At the level of what's found in natural foods like fruit, virtually 100% is absorbed, and it's safe to eat because none reaches general circulation. It starts getting grim at high intakes. High dose fructose can be pretty harmful. The first thing the body does with fructose is send it to the liver, which converts it to glucose, glycogen, lactate, and fat. Just like alcohol, the extra load that is on the liver from high amounts of fructose causes fatty liver disease, in this case called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. The body clearly prefers glucose over fructose, and this is because some of the most crucial bodily functions require glucose. The brain and nerves require 480 calories daily, awake or sleeping. For a sedentary healthy adult, the natural healthy carb intake will be 600 calories total, about 150 grams, generally from whole food carb sources such as rice or potatoes, instead of processed ones like wheat. You can click the link in the description and download the entire list for free. Every starch in the PDF will give you about 400 calories per day. You can eat up to a pound a day, about 4 fist-sized servings per day, 1 or 2 per meal. And if you want to eat even more carbs guilt-free, then learn the most effective time-saving and easy exercise for weight loss and insulin resistance by clicking this video here. Thank you very much for your support to your health.